This is TWiT.
Netflix is now expanding their gaming efforts.
Ooh.
They're looking, I think Netflix is looking at what Apple's doing. They want to do a subscription gaming service, kind of like Apple's Arcade. They've already done games like based on Stranger Things and other things, but apparently, according to an exclusive article in The Information, Nick Wingfield and Jessica Tunkel, they are going to expand their game efforts. Pretty soon, Netflix is going to own everything.
I mean,
so, like a controller, like a controller hooked up to your TV via Bluetooth. Is that what we're talking about here?
They're still figuring it out, according to one industry executive.
You've got to remember, this is The Information, so it'll probably be a rumor that this is going on, and then 6 months later, yes, Netflix has decided it's not going to get into
right. It could be.
I feel like they've saturated the market for the Netflix and chill people, and then for the people who don't participate in that type of activity.
For those who don't
gaming.
Yeah. Well,
gaming
has become a streaming product, right?
Well,
this is the thing to understand. It. Gaming is no longer you buy a lot of hardware and you buy a game and you sit at home and play it. More and more, thanks to Google's Stadia and Microsoft's xCloud and GeForce Now from NVIDIA, it's a streaming product, right?
Up to a point, but I mean, I'm not a big gamer. I still play Civilization 2 if I'm going to be, or Elite if I'm going to be gaming. But the Stadia and the rest of them don't seem to have worked that well so far. I mean, have you tried them? Because I'm genuinely curious.
No, they're totally playable.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have to have the right bandwidth. Like you definitely have to have a certain tier of bandwidth in your home for it to be dependable. But yeah, I found Stadia to be pretty darn responsive. When it first launched, it was pretty.
It was the only way to play Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, it was there for a while.
You don't want to do something where latency might really be the end of the line for you.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
But Civ 2 would be fine. For instance, there's no reason you should have
first-person shooters. I mean.
No, but there's lots of
when
other kinds of
Counter-Strike
games.
came out, and that was just it blew me away. Counter-Strike on broadband was just fantastic. I literally spent 10 hours playing it the first time I was introduced to it. But it came down to latency and it came down to hardware, and eventually you could get sniped from anywhere.
Right.
The second
then you're in trouble. Yeah. Then you're in trouble.
So I'm curious. I mean, I think it'll work, but you need to get that bandwidth, and the bandwidth needs to be reliable.
Well, I mean, but in the future, it'll just keep getting better. Latency will go down over time. You know, if they're looking at a long play of 15 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But clearly, they must be thinking,
what's
my
next?
God, look what we did to Hollywood.
Yeah.
We came into town.
What other industries can we disrupt?
A little company from Los Gatos, California that shipped DVDs to people. Now we dominate the Oscars, right? What if we did that to gaming? Because everybody focuses on the technology, but what really matters is the content. What people really love is the content. We could create original content plus drive others to come to our platform and make them available to us.
Historically difficult, though. Google created its own independent gaming lab to go along with Stadia, and they've now fired everybody. They brought in really good people. They hired a lot of people, and it just didn't work. It's hard to do a game people want to play.
I don't think Google could have done what Netflix did. I don't think Apple is doing what Netflix did. True. Nobody did what Netflix did. So I think they might be high in their own supply, but I mean, they have a great track record for creating.
But I do think
awesome
the gaming
content.
industry is sowing the seeds for its own destruction on this one, because if you look at the amount of user resentment from loot boxes and the rest of it, and the amount of government kickback,
free to play has become the blight of the gaming industry. It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So if Netflix could go in there and reorganize the gaming thing, so. Yeah, you don't have to buy all the extra stuff to get to the top levels. You can actually just play a game the way it used to be made.
Right.
You know?
That's what Apple Arcade is. It took all those games that were free to play, but you end up buying a lot of stuff in them.
Yeah.
It took them all and took that all away. You pay $5 a month. They're not the greatest games, but there's more than 100 of them.
Yeah.
And there's no additional expense down the road.
I think Play Pass on.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen is that there's going to be a huge reaction to it.
I have a theory about what they're thinking. What if they turned their top shows into video games? That's
what they did with Stranger Things.
Exactly.
And Black Mirror.
Exactly, but what if they did that
Game of Thrones is just
at
waiting
scale, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
that's probably what they're thinking. And I think it's also a reflection of the problem Netflix and any company that's hugely successful like Netflix has, which is what's next.
How do you keep growing?
How do you keep growing? How do you
trying to work
that?
out what the Peaky Blinders game would be. But I'm pretty sure it involves flat caps and razors.
You put a razor in it and go to town.
I don't
Actually,
know,
that might be a fun game.
Hey, honestly, I watched that series just because the accents are hilarious.
Oh, I love it. It might mean more to you than they do to us. But
I was raised in the Black Country.
Are they accurate?
Some of them are. Some of them are frankly hilarious. It's very easy to go from a Brummie accent to a Liverpool accent.
Yeah, and that's what they do.
You know,
shift a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the main actors do it pretty well. But there's that occasional slip, which is just like, ooh, if my granny heard that, she'd be throwing things at the TV.